Hey, good everyone, it's Chris and Sam here from Bayleys. So this is our monthly roundup of what's been happening in the NZ housing market, talking through some stats and some sales. If you want to learn a bit more about your local market, check in with your local Bayleys team. But with that said, Sam, let's get into it. So, mate, what's the latest stats over the month?
Yeah, so this is the data out of the Real Estate Institute. Sales for January 2026, there were 3,800 across New Zealand, which was a bit softer than normal and on last year. And looking at the price trend overall for New Zealand, it's still tracking sideways, pretty flat on the price outlook. And then in terms of key drivers for the market, firstly, the supply of homes for sale, which has been a big one. So this is data from realestate.co.nz. 33,000 homes on the market at the end of January, which is a decade high, still sitting at very high levels. And then the other key factor in the market is interest rates, which are quite a bit lower than 12 months ago, but seeing some recent rises. So home loan rates now sitting around 4s to early 5s, depending on that term.
Yeah, so quite an interesting time in the market, maybe a little bit of a changing point. We'll chat about interest rates in a moment, but Sam, what's our sort of view on outlook for the market over the next 12 months?
Yeah, so as mentioned, lower interest rates is good for the market, but still a lot of homes sitting for sale.
Yep.
So overall market just sitting in neutral. That's what our agents have been reporting as well. So expecting prices to remain flat over the coming months.
Yep.
But interest rates is that kind of one to watch to see the direction of change.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, kind of interesting time in the market. With that said, we'll just jump into a quick sales snapshot. So we've got a couple of sales at the median house price, one for New Zealand, one for Auckland. So reference points on that, New Zealand median house point. So midpoint, 753,000 during January, and for Auckland, 950,000. So Sam, do you want to kick us off for New Zealand?
Yeah, so I'm down in Nelson at 196 Collingwood Street. Stylish, solid and so central. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom on 345 square metres. Private and full of timeless charm. This one was marketed by Michelle Soman from Bayleys Nelson and sold for $755K.
Yeah, cool. And then up in Auckland, the example is 165D Wiseley Road in West Harbour. So smart start for families, 3 beds, 2 baths on 158 square metres. Comfort, convenience and coastal charm in the stylish 2-storey home. So it was marketed by Ada Shu and Tanya Shin from Bayleys, One Tree Hill, sold for 960,000, so about midpoint for that Auckland market, and 2 cool little homes there. Next up, quick deep dive for the month, right? So one of the things that's happening in the market at the moment is obviously the movements around interest rates. So as Sam mentioned before, we've seen overall decline in interest rates compared with 12 months ago, but we have seen some recent rises. Most of those rises have been focused at the long end of the fixed rate. So for example, the 5-year fixed home loan rate, lowest across the 5 major banks in November 2025, so a couple of months ago, was 4.99%. And if you go there today, 5.49%, so it's actually come up like a noticeable amount. We've been sort of trying to cast our thoughts as to what this might mean for the market. So here's a couple of potential things, right? So if you look generally at interest rates, if they're going up, that's going to take some demand out from buyers. That would be like your neoclassic economic view on what's happening. So we might see some activity soften off the back of that though. But we're actually seeing some interesting behavioural stuff come through the market. So the first is we've seen a boost from our agents reporting first home buyers trying to get in. And what we think this relates to is them trying to lock in rates before they rise further. So maybe they're a bit more sensitive to affordability. So that's interesting, right? That's kind of like the reverse of what you'd expect. The other thing is that there's been this big issue in the market over the past, 24 months with vendors' price expectations being too high just generally. And a lot of that's had to do with vendors viewing that interest rates were coming down, so prices would go up. So what we might see with interest rates starting to potentially rise is some of those vendors saying, actually, now is the time to transact, and maybe seeing a bit more activity, a bit more negotiation on prices. So kind of an interesting little thing. It's going to take us a couple of months to really fix that, but maybe check back in March and April and we'll see what's tracking.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so look, to wrap up, we've got property of the week, and so we've got 2 beautiful homes that are for sale right now. So Sam, what have you got for us?
I've got 123 John Street in Ponsonby, Auckland. Parkside living, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms on 420 squares. Multiple living areas with seamless indoor-outdoor flow. The home is less than 5 years old, but designed to flawlessly fit in amongst the surrounding villas. If you're interested, contact Edward Pack from Bayleys Ponsonby.
Cool. And for me, I'm in Christchurch, so 12 Quarters Place in Halswell. So live life large, 4 beds, 2 baths on 2,100 square metres. It's a modern single-level home on a half-acre plot. It's got open plan living, outdoor terrace, and 4-car garaging. So if you want to learn more about this, contact Adam Hazelwood from Bayleys Mirabale. With that said, we'll wrap things up here. So cheers, Sam.
Thanks, Chris.
Sweet. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Ciao.